And here we go. Digital Adel back with another Hoops Profile Beyond the Backboard podcast for you with my co-host, Matt Hanifan. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing good, dude. We're so close.
We are. We're
8
so
days
close.
away.
8 days away. Pretty much a week.
You're right, yeah.
Because this day is almost gone. And not only that, my trip is coming up in less than a month to the NBA Summer League. So that's picking up steam. I've been working on getting us some sponsors. Our channel has now grown to over 5,000 subscribers. We just crossed that threshold in the last day or so. So big shout out to all the people on YouTube that like, subscribe, and consume our content. Like Rob. Rob says, let's go Heat. Thanks for dropping by, Rob. I appreciate you. We got some new emojis in the chat for channel members as well. Just put those in there. I'm going to put them up on the screen. A lot more polished than the old ones. The old ones were kind of pathetic. But, it's a startup company, so to speak. But, yeah, we're getting better. We're getting better. A lot of other exciting things are around the corner. But before we get into all that, we are going to do a mock draft review. And we've done these before in the past where we go through someone else's mock draft. The way this is going to work, I'm going to read what Jonathan Givony wrote about each pick. Matt Hanifan is going to respond to what he wrote. And if I feel I need to chime in, I'll chime in as well. Ryan says, good day, gentlemen. Good day to you, sir. Our latest super chat came from Ryan, by the way. So big shout out to him. That's a way you can support the channel, is to super chat. So if you want to send us a question, make sure it gets on air. And guys, send us mock drafts. Do your own mock draft. Send it to us on Twitter. I'm Digital Adel. That's Matt Hanifan, who is MPH underscore
A24 underscore.
A24 underscore. Yeah, that's
fill in
it.
the blank for you.
Please do. So yeah, that's Matt Hanifan. And you'll find him on any of my content because I always retweet him. I always tag him. So you'll be able to find him if you can't remember the Pythagorean theorem.
If you want to see bad tweets, you know where to find me.
If you want to see all Nevada biased in full effect, you know where to find Matt Hanifan. But yeah, let's jump right into this. We're going to skip Cooper Flag. We just need to skip it, right?
And for the people out there, the reason why Adele is going to be reading it, and it has intel that some interesting intel, that he wants me to react to. I'm shocked.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in here that Givony reveals, man. It's interesting. And we kind of hinted at some of this stuff prior in our episodes, but this just is an insider who's in the know, who confirmed some stuff.
Well, there's some stuff in here that you could see. There's rumblings of it that you could see being floated around. And then today, this was just another justification for what you're hearing, or it's confirmation bias.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll skip Cooper Flag, but
there's no reason to.
I'll just put it this way: is there any chance Dallas trades out of this pick?
It would be so funny if they traded out of this pick.
Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I would laugh hysterically. It doesn't matter who it is. Obviously the worse the player, the funnier it gets. But
right,
would be genuinely funny, genuinely hilarious.
I don't think there's any chance. I think there's zero chance.
But it would be very funny. And
I agree.
It's bad when your general man, the moment you won the lottery, one of your first reactions is, "Oh, I hope they don't trade this pick."
Right. Well, did you see Cooper Flag's face?
Yeah.
He was just like, man, I don't know. He's like, I don't know.
He always feels like a pretty stoic individual.
He didn't really look stoic. He looked kind of like, I don't like.
Well,
I don't know
to
if I
him,
like this.
to me, I read it like he doesn't have much like he's never too high or too low.
I'll give you that. I will definitely give you. He's very polished for sure. For
Yeah,
an
especially for
18-year-old.
someone at 18. At
Yeah.
18, I can tell you I wasn't. I'm still not.
I'm 41 years old, and I'm definitely not.
But like, yeah, no, it would be very funny if they're just like, you know what, guys, there's an offer on the table for 5 first round picks and whatever. Like, it'd be very funny.
The Mikal Bridges package.
Yeah.
The San Antonio Spurs are on the clock. They have Dylan Harper, and Givony writes, most talent evaluators consider Harper to be in a tier of his own as the draft's clear-cut second-best prospect, overriding potential concerns the Spurs might have about his imperfect backcourt fit with De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle due to a distinct lack of perimeter shooting. Rival teams attempting to engage in talks with the Spurs have come away with the impression it's unlikely they move down or off the second pick. It seems San Antonio is excited about the possibility of adding a talent of Harper's caliber and is willing to be patient figuring out roster construction concerns later. That's the gist of it. We're going to leave it at that. Any reactions to that?
I have him in a tier of his own too. So
yes, we talked about that for sure.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, like, I guess you could have him in like the second tier. Like, I know for when we did our tier list that we had Coop in his own, and then we had Dylan, VJ, Trey,
right,
so on and so forth. I think I want to say it. We had it that way.
We did for sure.
The next up, and I think that should be how it is now.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and balk at the idea that Harper should be in his own tier. I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. Ryan says the Spurs are the team that should move up with the Mavs. They got the picks to make the Mavs think about it, and Flag would be a nice fit. It'd be the steal of a century. The steal of the century if that ended up happening. I don't see any chance that happens. No chance. Also, Dusty, the Spurs reporter, is his Twitter handle. He's a reporter for San Antonio, and he said San Antonio is not including the second pick, but they have, in the Durant trade, thrown out machinations that include the 14th overall pick. So,
as they should.
So that's definitely something that probably is going to get referenced farther down. The Philadelphia 76ers take VJ Edgecombe. Now, Givony writes, Edgecombe takes over this spot from Ace Bailey in ESPN's mock draft after a positive visit to Philadelphia, where sources say he made a strong impression in a private workout, as well as in meetings with the front office and ownership. He appears to be the leader in the clubhouse currently, with Bailey losing momentum. This is key. Pay attention to this. This is going to come back later. Bailey losing momentum after refusing to visit Philadelphia. Initial unsatisfied with his search for a proven pathway to development. However, Bailey is scheduled to work out with Philadelphia at the end of the week. We'll see if he's able to sway the tides in his favor. Feedback from his interviews at the draft combine in Chicago were not all that positive, with some teams expressing concern about his lack of participation and focus.
Preparation.
NBA, huh?
You said preparation and focus.
Preparation. I'm having trouble with my right eye. It's so dry. I want to put eye drops in right now. Guru Sun says VJ going to Philly seems like a lock. Me and you on this very podcast talked about him or Trey Johnson would be an amazing fit in Philadelphia. We absolutely talked about that. Preparation and focus. NBA executives say Bailey has been polarizing in internal front office conversations because of questions about his feel for the game and lack of polish, creating a wider draft range than initially anticipated. There's more to that story to come. Stay tuned. There's more on that to come. Surrounding the hyper-explosive Edgecombe with prolific three-point shooters such as Maxey, McCain, Grimes and Paul George could add another dimension to the Sixers offense, especially if team buys into development of his passing ability long term. Should Edgecombe not be selected here, most teams expect him to be drafted one pick later by Charlotte at number 4. Now, this comes back to why you should join us on playback.tv/5RSN for the draft. But he also worked out in front of Washington in a pre-draft process, an indication there might be some trade scenarios in play with the Wizards moving up potentially as high as number 3. Draft night, to me, I feel is going to be wild. There's going to be all kind of trades in this draft, in my opinion. If they don't get leaked or agreed upon ahead of time, I think it's going to be absolutely wild. But what are your thoughts overall, Matt Hanifan?
It's a tough day for Paul George, who read that as the ardent Ace Bailey supporter. I mean, other than that, like, yeah, VJ in the spot's fine. Again, the Bailey stuff is not ideal in the sense that, like, the workout video that floated about, like, asking him about his weaknesses, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't have any weaknesses," or something, like, whatever he echoed. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying it word for word, but
Well, to
that was kind of the
paraphrase, he said,
sentiment.
I have none.
Yeah, like, respect the confidence. I'm never gonna knock a player's confidence because there's a reason why they get to this level, but at the same time, probably not the answer that some were wanting to hear or expecting to hear, especially after the kind of season that he had, albeit it was an awesome season individually. There are some definite weaknesses in your game.
Oh, there's definitely some weaknesses in Ace Bailey's game. I might do a video on that, even though it's probably going to get demonetized. But I might just do a video on that because he literally said, I have no weaknesses.
Yeah,
Which is
like,
funny.
you can't, again, respect the confidence, but, like, self-awareness is also quite important.
It's a good
Especially if you're
quality to
trying
have.
to win teams over when you're a top, consensus top 5 prospect, top 6 prospect, however you want to view him. But VJ in this spot, like, perfect. Fine.
I love it. I love the fit for Philadelphia. If they don't get Joel Embiid insurance in this draft, going with one of these two guys would be absolutely outstanding. That team would be a nightmare defensively, offensively. It would be tough to play that group night in and night out. The Charlotte Hornets at number 4 take Con Knipple. Knipple has some real fans among NBA teams in this portion of the draft, with proponents highlighting his elite movement and spot-up shooting, emphasis on his ability to shoot off of movement as opposed to his actual movement, defensive smarts and playmaking, as well as analytics-friendly profile that shines through in team draft models. Knipple's feel for the game, selfless play style, strength and toughness should make him easy to play with, especially alongside the likes of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, who he appears to complement quite well. The Hornets and Jazz are two teams that appear to have interest in him, with his floor seemingly lower than number 8, no lower than number 8. He's the type of prospect a playoff caliber team could also target in a trade, as he is a plug-and-play skill set that looks likely to bring value throughout his cost-controlled rookie scale contract. I agree with all of that, but go ahead, Matt. What do you think?
Do you know what team should trade up for him?
Who?
Or, I mean, a team that I'd like to trade up for him for chaos? Oklahoma City.
Oh, my Lord. Why would you want to do that to the league, Matt Hanifan? You're devious.
I just think they're a team, like, I mean, I guess Con isn't quite this, but they need, even after, I mean, they're up 3-2 in the finals as we speak.
They're
I'm
going to win the
guessing
title.
they're going to win the title. That'd be my guess, if, as of right now, on this very date, June 17th. But they feel like a team that needs a little bit more creation.
Yeah.
They just need, like, a little bit more catch and shoot, a little bit, like, obviously Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, obviously J-Dub, like, they're all exceptional, but, like, I would just like to see them add that, and I think Khan would just be a perfect fit there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think people are sleeping on his ability to handle the basketball. And if anything that I've learned about Con Knipple is he's a hard worker. I think he's going to get better with his foot speed because that can be improved. Contrary to popular belief, you can improve your foot speed. And his ability to dribble, I think, was going to get so much better when he fixes his foot speed. Guru Sun has agreed with me. Khan's creation goes underrated. And again, for those watching, don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to hear from you. Comment, message us, DM us. I mean, DM Matt. Just kidding. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, I really like that. And I like I said earlier, the last podcast we did, I said I was probably going to move Khan above Ace Bailey on my big board. And I'm going to pull the clip because Matt Hanifan doesn't believe me.
It just aside from that, all of that though, I know we deviated away from Charlotte. I think that'd be a good fit for Charlotte.
It would be, yeah.
Not
it
to
would
talk
be a
a
good
whole lot
fit.
about the Charlotte Hornets or to completely dismiss.
I think Khan fits anywhere he goes. He's that kind of player. I think he fits anywhere he goes. The Utah Jazz take Trey Johnson. The Jazz, now led by Austin Ainge, have major decisions ahead as they work to navigate their way out what has become a protracted rebuild. While rival teams still suspect Utah will have strong interest atop the 2026 lottery, noting their first-round pick is top 8 protected. Otherwise, it goes to OKC. Jesus. The organization's public stance has been the team is done tanking. Still, none of their perimeter players available at this spot will be ready to turn around the franchise immediately, allowing the Jazz to simply swing on their preferred talent. Johnson's excellent perimeter shooting and room to develop as an all-around scorer will make him enticing. Bailey, who continues to slide down the board, doesn't appear to have much interest in Utah. Again, him dictating where he has interest is funny to me. And is viewed by most teams a riskier bet. Expect Jeremiah Fears and Con Knipple, if available, to receive long looks as well. What are your thoughts, Matt Hanifan?
It just feels like if they draft Trey Johnson at 5, which obviously I'm not opposed to the idea of it, Jordan Clarkson, see you later.
Bye-bye. I think he's gone no matter what, to be honest.
Me too, but still, like you're still like regardless, I think he's gone. I think Sexton's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna extend Keontae George, I imagine, but if they don't, see you later. Like that. No, I think
Trey's better than both of those guys.
No doubt, for sure. It also just I mean, like, I'm not a complete buyer in the sense that I think they're done. I still think they're gonna tank.
Yeah, to get another pick in that 2026 draft would be unreal.
Especially since this isn't a good roster anyway.
No. Say less D in the playback room at playback.tv/hoops profile, where we always record these shows live. I'm hearing Matt is coming around on Miami drafting Will Riley at number 20.
Whatever sources Say Less D is hearing that from, it must be from a rival draft podcast. I will shut those rumors down.
With authority.
He's getting leaked misinformation. Listen, it's a troubling day. It's a sad day.
It is a sad day. Say Less D spreading baseless lies. Number 6, Ace Bailey. This is where it gets a little spicy. Bailey's pre-draft workout strategy has perplexed some observers, as he's yet to conduct a single known workout to date, having declined invitations from several teams within his draft range. Sources say Bailey's camp has informed interested teams that they believe he's a top 3 player in the draft. but also seeks a clear path to stardom. Perhaps feeling comfortable that a team will trade up to get him, number 3 or 4 should he drop. Some teams question whether Bailey has received assurances of being selected by a team currently outside the top 5 to a situation that's deemed more advantageous from a geographical and playing time perspective. Bailey is scheduled to conduct a workout with the 76ers later this week, but it's unclear if he plans to visit any other team at this stage. Should the Sixers pass on him, he could very well slide to 6 or 7. 2 teams in Washington and New Orleans that are said to be highly intrigued by the 18-year-old's talent, and both situations which there appear to be plenty of minutes and shots to be had. Your thoughts?
I mean, where do you want to begin with this? This feels insane. Like,
yes, it does.
My question is okay, so you believe you're a top 3 player in the draft. That's fine. I would understand that if I were him. But then you decline a workout from a top 3 team in the draft because it doesn't provide you an immediate path to start. Like, what? Like, what?
It's wild.
Okay, so let's think about this for a second. Let's say the Sixers drafted Ace Bailey. He's starting day 1. No?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll start day 1.
Like, it would be McCain, Maxey, Paul George, Bailey, and Embiid. Assuming all of them were healthy. Assuming full health.
I don't know if they're going to start 6'7" Ace Bailey at his weight at power forward. I don't know if they're going to do that.
It interchangeable. It doesn't matter at that point. But, like, why are you looking for a path to immediate stardom?
If you're a star, you're going to be a star.
Correct. Well, that and the fact that, like, the teams that are in the top 5 are in the top 5 for a reason.
All right, let me play devil's
advocate.
Outside
of Dallas, who lipped, 10 spots, but even then, that's still like.
But let me play devil's advocate, Matt. Even if he goes to OKC and he's not a starter, do you think he's not going to play 30 minutes a game off the bench?
No. I don't think he's going to play 30 minutes off the bench.
I think he would. By the end of the season, I definitely think he would. He's that good of a player. Come off their bench and be a scorer for that team. I think he would.
I think it's way too crowded over there with all the guys they got.
They got a ton of guys. But if he's the shot maker that he makes himself out to be, because this is the way I view it. If you're the shot maker you make yourself out to be, he also said, I have no weaknesses to my game.
That's also part of this. Like, that's why it's insane that, like, he doesn't think he'll be a star in certain places when you believe.
But he doesn't have any weaknesses. Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
I have no weaknesses, but I'm not sure I'll start everywhere.
Or not even just, I mean, I guess start and be a star. Like, obviously, if you're going to be a star, you're going to start.
Right.
But it just feels kind of insane that he's just like, no, I'm not.
New Orleans seems like a pretty good spot for him.
Who?
New Orleans, the Pelicans.
Sure. Especially if they, I mean, I guess he could coexist with Zion, but especially if they move off of Zion.
Yeah, he could coexist anywhere because he could just sit on the wing.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's a clear path to stardom. In his own words. No.
Ryan says the towel guy in OKC was nationally ranked coming out of high school. The basketball manager has bona fides. That's how deep OKC is.
Yeah, like, they have legit, like, I don't think he would get 30 minutes because it's like, you just look on down the list. It's Dort, Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. Like,
yeah, but
all these guys are getting considerable run.
But AJ Lawson got minutes throughout the season pretty significantly. Dylan Jones was getting minutes. I don't think either of those guys would get minutes over Ace Bailey.
I don't think so either, but I'm not going to say that Ace would get 30 minutes.
You're probably
Like
right.
how many players on their roster get 30 minutes?
I was probably a little overzealous with the number of minutes. Let's move on. New Orleans, Jeremiah Fears. Fears built significant. This is pretty high for Fears. 7's pretty high. Fears built significant momentum with the way he finished the season at Oklahoma, and front office is thinking hard about his long-term upside. Even with rough edges left in his game, this range is relatively narrow at this point. The Pelicans' Nets are viewed by rival teams as landing spots. The Jazz at number 5 appear to be the top end. I don't see that. There's thought circulating that New Orleans might be his floor. If he makes it to this spot, a fit that makes sense considering the Pelicans' long-standing need for a starting caliber lead guard. The Pelicans sit in a valuable slot here with at least one of Fears, Johnson, Knipple, Bailey set to be available, but have also been a tricky team to peg. Matt Hanifan, do they not have DeJounte Murray on that team?
They do. Coming off an injury, but they do.
Yeah, did he pop an Achilles also? What was it?
Hold on, let me double check that.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
I want to say so. Yeah, yep, an Achilles.
Yeah, that's rough. I guess they could take him because they give you insurance for DeJounte Murray. He's the future at lead guard. Pair him with a hard rim runner and Misi. I don't know what you do with Zion at this point. He's an albatross.
I don't want to discuss that part of it just because like there's some bad guy stuff kind of.
That's what I'm saying. He's an albatross at this point. Yeah.
Just kind of webbed together. And I'm like, his trade value's in the eye of the beholder. Fine. But Fears is an interesting like New Orleans. I don't know if I would go this route. I would rather have. I mean, it's kind of close. I would rather have Yakachonis though.
Yeah, Kasper Yakachonis would be a great fit for them. But the question is if they keep Trey and they keep Herb Jones and you know what I mean? Like, I would have Yakachonis as well. I would. I'm with you on that, Matt. I would probably have Yakachonis as well.
I'm trying to figure out in my head, like, there's one ball to move around
right
the court. I think, I don't know, they're kind of close. I think Yakachonis would be a little bit better off of DeJounte and CJ than, I mean, assuming they kept CJ, but
assuming
in this
they
case,
keep
DeJounte, CJ, than Fears would. But not saying Fears would be like a bad pick here or anything, but I'd have
he
like
would have to lean into his playmaking more.
Yakachonis, personally.
Yeah. Fears would have to lean into his playmaking more.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I just think defensively, Yakachonis is better.
Oh, agreed. I definitely agree with that. Number 8, Kaman Malawach to the Brooklyn Nets. Malawach has been participating in competitive workouts for top 10 teams against other big men, aiming to showcase the improvements he made in his skill level and physique. Malawach received a clean bill of health, which is significant considering size and minor elements he experienced earlier in Duke's season. The Nets drafting 8 right at the end of the tier of prospects before what seems to be a clear drop-off. Drop-off can afford to be opportunistic. Wait and see which player falls to them. Malawach is one of the draft's youngest prospects, turning 19 September 14th. Significant room to grow both physically and skill-wise. He has tremendous intensity and is beloved by coaches and teammates alike. He has an ability to anchor a defense with his wingspan, provide vertical spacing as a roller and cutter. Aggressive in transition, will attract to any team looking for a center to build around long term, including Wizards, Pelicans at 6 and 7. What are your thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets selecting Kaman Malawach?
If I'm gonna, I've said this before. I am more of like, I'll believe the draft noise or the draft night trade noise when I see it.
Yeah.
On draft night, but Brooklyn does feel like a team that will trade up, considering they have 4 first-round picks. It may not be, a huge leap or whatever, but assuming they are at 8 and they, package a couple of their other picks thereafter and move up somewhere in the teens. Malawatch, I think, is a good spot here. And then if they want to address the guard or the wing or whatever the case is, and with those other picks, depending on how many they actually end up having, fine.
Yeah,
But
I think
this to me says that he'll be a top 10 pick.
I agree with that. And I think that the team below this team is where he should go, though. Alex Page on YouTube says, could the Heat make a trade without involving the 20th pick?
No.
I mean,
well, are we talking about like they move into like the top 10? Is that what you, or just like
it depends on the context of the trade. Like, what do you mean by that? Please explain in the comments.
Say, if you're trying to move up into the top 10, there's no way you can't make a trade that doesn't involve 20.
Right.
At least I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I tend to agree. All right. So number 9, the Toronto Raptors. Noah Osengay. Osengay's pre-draft process has stalled because his successful season in Germany remains ongoing. Ulm advanced to the basketball BBL finals against Munich, a best-of-5 series that began on Monday, and could very well run into the draft with a potential Game 4 slated for June 24th and Game 5 on the 26th. Osengay, as well as teammate and draft prospect Ben Seraph, might be unable to conduct private workouts stateside prior to the draft. What does help is this week Osengay measured officially 6'10", nearly a 7'1" wingspan, underscoring his excellent physical profile. Toronto has largely been linked to a front court target at 9, including Malawatch, who is not guaranteed to be on the board. Raptors are one of several teams in the range said to be involved in trade talks around their pick. Osengay's blend of versatile, extreme youth and burgeoning production draw an increasing interest from teams in the 9 to 15 range. He fits the archetype the Raptors brass often targets. Your thoughts?
Has anyone figured out or answered the question of whether or not Osengay and Seraph are going to be playing in Summer League because they just played 50-plus basketball games over this last year? Like, aside from the fit, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, what if they're just like, nah, guys, like, give me some sort of a break. I just got done playing months and months of, high-level competition basketball, which isn't a bad thing. That's not a knock or anything, but I just wonder if those guys are going to be playing in Summer League. I imagine they actually do. I'm not saying they won't or anything, but I was just curious to see if anyone, like, if they have like a firm answer, because if it goes, I think it's a 5-game series. They're against Munich, and like if it gets to Game 5 or something like that, I think the end date's like June 26th, which is the second day of the draft. Maybe I could be a little bit wrong there, but it ends around the time of the draft, and so like these guys may not even be done playing basketball by the time they're actually drafted, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of basketball. It's a lot of basketball.
A lot of basketball, especially for guys at this age. But that aside, this feels a little bit early for him. I don't know, like, but this also feels like a Raptors thing to do. And not in a bad way, but like Masai, they kind of feel like an out of the box. We're gonna take, we're gonna throw a dart on this guy's upside, and I would imagine if they do take Osengay or someone like that at 9, assuming they keep their pick, like I think they would have like a plan for him. At least I would hope they would have like a legitimate plan for him, but like this just feels like a very Raptors-y thing to do. Not saying it wouldn't work or would work, but I don't know if I would pull a trigger on something like this, but I'm obviously not in Toronto.
It's way too high in my opinion. Way too high. I've watched so much Ulm basketball this year. I mean, I've watched probably 15 games. There's no way he's A, ready, or B, physical enough to be a low post player. He's going to have to be a wing.
Right.
And there's so many better options. He's athletic, but he's not nearly as athletic as people are making him out to be, in my opinion. Say less D clapped back at you, man. He said, never lies. He will come around to him like he did for others. He's talking about you and Will Riley, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Ryan on YouTube says, hard to turn down a free trip to Vegas at their age. So he thinks they're going to be there.
Listen, fair points being made by all sides here. Not denying that.
Houston at 10 takes Carter Bryant. There's some shockers in this one.
Again, man, it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get weird. Like, if that'd be my draft, like after the top 6, pick name out of a hat, and I wouldn't be it's just gonna be weird for some of these teams because and it always is, to a certain extent, just because certain teams feel certain ways about certain players, and they feel like they have certain needs that some may not think. I don't know. There's always a method behind the madness when it comes to these NBA front offices. Some of them are smarter than others.
I'm going to skip to the second half of this. The Rockets, flush with young prospects, might not be ultimately picking here, as the possibility of adding a proven veteran will thoroughly be explored. Rival teams expect Houston's front office to be active the week of the draft. I think it'll be a moot point. I don't think he'll be there. I really don't. I think that pick is going to be traded to somebody else. That being said, I think there's a better talent on the board than Carter Bryant. Like, I'm not passing up Kasparas Giacochonis for Carter Bryant.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, definitely not doing that. Do you have any other thoughts you want to add to that?
Hey, Houston, how could I interest you in one Kevin Durant? Are you guys gonna use that 10 pick to move up and get him, or not move up and get him? What am I talking about? Just trade for him. You know you want to.
Or do you have a Heat angle, or are you trying to throw the Heat in there somehow?
No.
Are you trying to redirect Jalen Green to Miami?
We have Jalen Green at home with Tyler Hero. So,
there it is.
We're all right.
The Portland Trailblazers get great value in Kasparas Giacochonis.
Oh, dude.
Great value.
I would, if Houston, come on.
The Trailblazers are set up front for the foreseeable future with Donovan Klingeth at center and don't have a express positional need, but players such as Giacochonis, Bryant, Osengate could be available. Giacochonis' unselfish play style and ability to enhance ball movement could help Portland's backcourt mix with players such as Scoot, Sharp, and Simons, all more scoring oriented. He could feasibly slide into a multi-playmaking lineup alongside other guards. Thoughts?
Can we stop saying that the Portland Trailblazers just don't have a need?
Yes, please.
I know he's probably hearing that from them in the sense that they don't think they have a need. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
It's unbelievable.
You were the 9th worst offense in the NBA last year, and outside of Simons and Kamara, not a good shooting team. Come on, guys.
It's really bad when they keep doing that. It's starting to annoy me, to be honest.
They were the 5th worst 3-point shooting team. I had to double check myself to make sure I wasn't going crazy.
No, we suck again.
And they're talking about a positional need. You guys still have positional needs.
They do. Their roster's far from complete. Far from complete.
Yeah. No. Giacochonis, I like that though.
At 12, the Bulls add Derek Queen. The Bulls don't have much in the way of a long-term keeper in the big man department, with Vucci Baby, as Eternal calls him, at 35 years old. A trade candidate entering his final year of his contract, Queen Berenger Sorber. How are we selecting people above Thomas Sorber? Anyway, are among the prospects they might consider at 12. Queen is the most skilled. He's a terrific target in the pick and roll and can create his own shot when facing the basket with an array of moves. An intriguing passing ability. Queen's conditioning and occasional, I love the word apathy on defense.
I was going to say, that's what made me laugh.
I love it. And lack of shooting range are some things NBA teams picking in this area are trying to get a better handle on in the pre-draft process. We've heard mixed feedback. Matt Hanifan, go.
Very interesting that he names Queen, Berenger, and Sorber as those three guys and not Asa Newell. Respect to Joan Berenger, not above Asa Newell on my board.
I love Joan Berenger, by the way, but he's not above Asa Newell on my board either.
Very funny how he just says occasional apathy defensively. He's also just an undersized center that doesn't take up a ton of space. But
and honestly isn't going to rebound particularly well at the next level.
In terms of this fit, though, I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate the idea. I don't like the other players he's passing up to get him. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Especially Thomas Sorber. People are sleeping on Sorber. Sleeping.
I hope that foot's okay.
Me too.
Like, I'm not saying that to be a butthead. I'm like genuine. Like, I really hope his foot's okay.
No doubt. No doubt. Matt Hanifan, a butthead.
I am, but
at 13, the Atlanta Hawks take Jaeger Demine. Rival teams' read on the Hawks has been they'll look to pair a big man and a guard. Presuming they keep both of their first picks, number 13 and 22, the order they go about prioritizing those needs might hinge on what happens in front of them. Demine's playmaking talent becomes intriguing value bet if he makes it part of the draft with big men, including Osingay, Berenger, and Newell. But then he doesn't mention Sorber. I don't understand what he's doing. Demine has cast a wide net on the workout circuit, scheduling for a range of teams while showcasing his talent in competitive settings. Your thoughts?
This is interesting. I don't know how much I love this fit.
I don't.
Did I draft? Hold on, before I contradict myself, did I draft Jaeger to Atlanta in our mock draft? I can't remember.
Dude, if you're asking me, I have no idea.
I'm about ready to contradict myself if I did. I don't love his fit there.
Yeah, I don't either. Ryan says at this point in the mock, who are you hoping falls to Miami? At this point, I'm hoping it's Thomas Sorber.
Cooper Flagg.
That's right. Cooper Flagg.
If Cooper Flagg fell past one, hypothetically, I would trade everything. Including my arms and legs.
I'd let everybody else fight for it, and I would trade for Trey Johnson or VJ Edgecombe. Because then you'll get them at a much better value. The San Antonio Spurs take Joan Berenger over Thomas Sorber and Asa Newell. It's a very Spursy thing to do to take the international guy.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
The Spurs will likely explore various options at 14, including the possibility of adding a veteran who's more ready to contribute towards a playoff team. With his season in Slovenia finally concluded, Berenger made his way to the States, starting in Chicago, Brooklyn, and New York, where he competed at the Combine. I don't remember him being at the Combine at all in the scrimmages.
I don't think he was in the scrimmages, was he?
Well, what? But why would he put it that he competed? Oh, completed. Whoops. Reading is fundamental, kids. 7 foot 235 with a 7'4.5" wingspan. The draft's best shot blocker, Sorber, might have something to say about that. Has flashed considerable upside all season. What are your thoughts on Joan Behringer? I know you haven't watched much, but
I mean, I like the athleticism. I like the fluidity of movement that he does have. The motor is something that, immediately pops out. But he's just going to have to improve in, like, quite literally every facet of his game.
Yeah.
Especially since he's going to need to get stronger.
He's definitely going to need to get
He's
stronger.
not that big.
But I think he has the frame of a Giannis. I'm not saying he's going to be Giannis. Again, we've done that before. We've talked about that. But I think he has this frame that can add a lot of muscle mass. Number 15. Why not? Throw a dart at the wall. Colin Murray Boyles to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
More defensive versatility. OKC's enamored with versatility and defense. And I mean, he doesn't have to be a starter because he's not really a forward. He's not really a center. He's not really a wing. He's not Draymond Green like everybody keeps saying. Toughness, basketball IQ, yada, yada, yada. OKC has picks to burn. Who cares? What do you think?
This is I like this for Oklahoma City just because I think this is one of the few spots that player can like really succeed. But no, this would be something.
Look, I don't have anything against the kid personally. I don't see how he makes it in the NBA. I don't. I just don't see it. Is he going to be able to shoot?
I hope. For the sake of him.
Is he going to be able to score inside?
What do you mean you have trouble
Can he dribble?
A player who's 6'7"?
Can he dribble?
Without much vertical pop.
Can he dribble?
Couple times. Possession, maybe.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Number 16, the Memphis Grizzlies take Jace Richardson. The Magic and Grizzlies pulled off a blockbuster trade for Desmond Bane, headed to Orlando, including this draft's 16th pick. The Grizzlies are exactly the type of team that are interested in the ultra-efficient, productive young prospect like Jace Richardson. I like Jace a lot. This would be a great fit for Jace.
Now that Memphis has that pick, oh, man.
Ryan says, with 11 prospects ahead of him in OKC, he has time to develop. LOL.
Right, that's what I mean. Like,
Ryan has the tweet of the chat message of the day. That's actually hilarious.
Take a shot on him.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. That's funny. The Minnesota Timberwolves get Thomas Sorber. What a great pick.
Especially if they trade Rudy. Minnesota, you gonna trade for Durant, dude?
That's actually a great pick. Minnesota facing positional or potential roster change. Naz Reid, Julius Randle, set to test free agency. Maybe they get Durant. I love this pick for them. I love it a lot. You?
No, I do. I don't think they get Durant, though.
I don't think they do either. He doesn't want to go there. But, dude, Sorber falling to 17 is a gift. Man, 18 gets Asa Newell to the Washington Wizards. Pair him with Alex
Bailey
Sarr.
And Asa Newell, you could do worse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about Sarr and Newell.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I like that a lot. What are your thoughts? I'm not even going to read that. I'm running out of breath, dude.
No, it's a good pick. Excellent value pick for them.
Just outstanding value pick, man.
Just hope that, like, his shot is able to consistently come around in addition to what, like, if Sarr can be just more efficient than he was last year.
Which you anticipate a second-year prospect would be.
Yeah. And for like how switchable that defense is with Koulibaly, with Bob Carrington, with Newell, with Sarr, like guys who can defend in space, guys who can switch multiple position, like that actually becomes like a pretty fun core, even though the roster still isn't that good around them.
They were fun last year. I liked watching them, even though they sucked. They're a fun team. And everybody knows I built this channel off the find of Bilal Koulibaly, so I'll always root for that guy. Brooklyn Nets, Will Riley. I mean, they need everything. They need absolutely everything. I mean, it's an upside pick, young prospect. They're going to have time to develop because they're not going to be good anytime soon. Excellent size and shooting. Doesn't have physical strength. Can't dribble very well. Although, word on the street is he had a workout with the Miami Heat. It's word on the street from one Greg Sylvander. And yeah, so I could see it with the shooting. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what you're. I mean, Jordi Fernandez is building something good there. Like they superseded expectations.
I don't think it's going to be any good anytime soon.
No, but I think like he's building a culture there.
I got you. I can see the vision. Yeah.
I don't love Will Riley's length or lack thereof.
You mean you don't like his 6'8" frame with a 6'8" wingspan?
No, don't care for it.
What about his 185 pounds?
Don't care for that either.
He weighs as much as I did when I was hooping in college at 6 foot.
No, it's just I don't.
It's insane.
Yeah. This is like a pure upside bet. That's really
6'8", 185. What is he eating? Nothing.
Yeah, listen, man. Someone get him some PB and J's and some
filet mignon, steak and potatoes or something. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, Matt Hanifan. The Miami Heat at number 20 select Liam McNeely.
Am I hearing something? I might have to go. No. I can't say too much considering I panicked and drafted him in our own mock.
You did panic and it was hilarious.
I wish I just forgot that I did that, so I didn't just bring that up again. I mean, just I hope. Listen, it's one of those things with the Heat where, and this is kind of how I felt last year with like, although I liked Ware. I think I had him higher on my board, my fake last minute board than you did. But it was one of those things where it was like I wouldn't have picked him, but like considering one of the best, developmental organizations in the NBA did, like I'm kind of just selling myself like, okay, they have a vision, they have a plan, this and that, the other. If they drafted Liam McNeely on draft night, that's kind of where I would be at. I'd be like, I don't like this player or like this pick, depending on who's available.
But trust the organization.
Yeah, I would just trust the organization. Like that's kind of where my head would be at if they did this. I just wish he was more efficient. Obviously, I think some of that's due to the ankle injury, the on-ball usage that he had last year. If he's off-ball, hopefully he's able to be at least a little bit more efficient. And not saying he's Duncan, but like they did Duncan, develop his all-around game over the ensuing seasons. In addition, like that's just what I would hope for especially if they move off of Mr. Robinson.
Ryan says, my gut, the Suns are making that pick. I guess he's saying there's a KD trade.
Well, yeah, that's what he is saying. Like that's not a get. That's what else would there be? Miami Heat acquired Nick Richards for the 20th pick.
That's it. They've acquired Ryan Dunn.
No.
Matt Hanifan would do backflips.
It's gonna annoy me on draft night when that happens, but we'll worry about
can
that.
You riddle me this, Matt Hanifan. Givony says McNeely's size, shot-making prowess are critical NBA attributes. And then he goes on to say, following an inefficient season, which he shot 44% from 2 and 32% from 3.
Listen, shooting is important, but
if you have shot-making prowess, where was it?
Nowhere to be seen, unfortunately, for Mr. McNeely.
Maybe you should call him and ask him. He's making Selly.
Dude,
he's making Sellies. He downed long distance 32% of the time.
Duncan Robinson and Pelle Larsson in one player. Look at that. Look at that.
Hold on, Ryan. I got you. Hold on, Ryan. Let me see if I can get it.
No,
Hold on.
If the Suns make this pick, fine. Do not care.
Yeah.
With the exception of who they left off of the board.
Yeah.
But depending on, I guess it depends on who falls to him. But
yeah, I guess. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it at all. I'll be honest with you.
Are you talking about with the Suns making the pick or McNeely?
McNeely going to the Heat. I don't see it at all. I tried to find the sound effect, but I'm afraid to press the wrong one because a lot of these have curse words in it. So I'm just not going to do it. The Utah Jazz at 21 take Cedric Coward. I'm going to paraphrase here. I hear his name called and has been a hot topic around the league. His lack of high-level pedigree and performance sample is a major drawback. But teams have come away enamored from his interviews and intrigued by his physical toolbox and shooting ability. I mean, at 21, I could see it. Especially for Utah, who needs shooting in the worst way. I would actually be very angry on draft night if the Heat took Liam McNeely over Cedric Cowherd and Danny Wolf and Neat Clifford.
Oh, okay, all right. We didn't even get to Neat Clifford yet.
No.
If the Miami Heat
took Liam McNeely over all those guys, I'd lose my ever-loving mind.
Is the Kevin Durant trade still a possibility?
Yeah. The Atlanta Hawks take Danny Wolf. I like this a lot for them. So they would have Jaeger and Danny Wolf. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I wouldn't hate it for Wolf at 22.
No, it's good. It's a good pick. I'm going to speed this up because we're already an hour into this thing. The New Orleans Pelicans, Neat Clifford. You don't like it? Talk to me.
No, he fell to 22. What are these teams doing? Or 23? What are these teams doing? No.
Top 10 pick, right?
He's top 10 and he's not 2 through 9. No, this would be a good pick for New Orleans.
For those that don't understand, Matt has a Nevada bias.
Well, it's hard to have a Nevada bias when it's a Colorado State player.
But it's because they're in the same conference.
Well, it's because I like the Mountain West Conference. I defend the Mountain West Conference, and they disappoint me every year.
And Nick almost got thrown out of his playoff game.
Yeah, they were for everyone out there who just says that super teams are ruined because of NIL. Well, I'll bid you one Colorado State that almost made the Sweet 16 as a 12 seed.
No doubt.
No, this is a good pick for New Orleans at 23. They should be fine with that. But then I just question what they do with CJ, which probably should trade him.
I concur. I mean, he wrote a lot about this. Hold on.
Because he's the best player in the draft, Adel. What don't you understand? No.
As we initially reported Wednesday, the Pacers are open to moving this pick due in large to financial considerations with Miles Turner's new contract. Should the Pacers get aggressive after this finals run, reacquiring their pick gives them flexibility to aggregate 4 firsts in a trade because of the step-in rule. Which direction the Pelicans go with the pick hinges to an extent on who they take at number 7. I'm telling you, draft night's going to potentially be wild.
Yeah, I could see a world where they package these 2 picks and try to trade up to the top 5.
Yeah.
Not banking on it, but I could see a world where it happens.
I really love this pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Hugo Gonzalez at 24. Again, he doesn't have to play right away, and he's super athletic. They can develop that guy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, actually. Your thoughts?
It feels like a Thunder thing to do.
The Orlando Magic take Maxim Reynaud. 25th. I mean, he's early second round to me. I mean, I don't mind them reaching 5 spots too early. What do you think?
I don't think I would do this, but you're at the end of the first round, so again, you're throwing darts.
So, like I said, it's too early for me, but I also understand it. If they really believe in this guy and you take him 5 spots too soon, it's not a bad move in that regard.
Well, they also have 17 centers, so it's like, why?
Do they have 17 that can shoot?
Wendell Carter Jr. is not a bad shooter. He's developed into a decently good 3-point shooter.
He's developed a little bit. The Brooklyn Nets acquire Nolan Troy. If he's there at 26, amazing value pick.
100%.
Yeah. Again, the Brooklyn Nets. Fleming hasn't even gone yet.
I forgot about. I'll be honest.
And the Heat took Liam McNeely in this scenario.
Oh, dude, I would be so upset.
Great value for the Brooklyn Nets looking to move Cam Johnson.
If you get Nolan Troyer and Rasheer Fleming at 26
and 27.
Come on, dude.
Outstanding value. The Boston Celtics get more annoying by taking a gritty defender in Drake Powell. My words, not Givony's.
They feel like a team that would swing for something more ready now. Yeah. Also, at the same time, I saw something the other day. I can't remember where I saw this from. So
they might not, though, because of the injury to Tatum.
I still think they're going to want to get someone who plays right away. Or who's more ready than Drake Powell, at least. I saw something the other day to where they were a team, like I can't remember who it's from, so I apologize for the lack of attribution, but they were a team that has been talked about, like, because they have 28 and 32, like they were getting like some like trade up buzz. Right. Not saying it's gonna happen or true or untrue, whatever the case is, but like if that is actually true, I'd be fascinated to see how high they're willing to go in for whom. Like if, for example, if Brooklyn at 26, if they see Rasheer Fleming on the board, if I'm Boston, like, come on, dude.
Heck yeah.
I'm trading up. Like,
I think there would be a lot of trades potentially if Rasheer Fleming was still on the board. There'd be a lot of teams like, yeah, I'm jumping up to get that guy.
Right.
Let's keep moving on. The Phoenix Suns take Walter Clayton Jr. The Suns appear interested in getting younger, remaking their roster, getting rid of Durant. Clayton, who might be value additive on a rookie scale. Pure plug-and-play score. Limited size, questionable defense. I agree with all that. And this is around the time he's probably going to go on draft night.
Yeah.
I have him 25 and below. Not this crazy nonsense. He's in the top 15. That gets on my nerves. The LA Clippers take Noah Penda. It's the 30th pick. At this point, you're taking a swing. He's Kyle Anderson to me. If the Minnesota Timberwolves get Ben Serif at 31.
Ben Serif and Thomas Sorber, that's a pretty good draft night.
The value is out of this world. That's out of this world value.
It's a pretty good draft.
Again, the Celtics are linked to Kalkbrenner. It's pretty much a done deal, just like Baylor Shireman from last season.
I said that days before the draft. I was like, I'm already annoyed at Baylor Shireman being a Celtic in our Discord chat.
You definitely called that one. Adu Thoreau to the Hornets. Yannick to the Hornets. Yannick's a reach, in my opinion. Hudson Young. There's your Joel Embiid insurance. Brooklyn Nets get Watkins. Tahui to the Pistons is low-key a great pick. Same with Chaz Lanier going to the Spurs. Great situations for both those guys. Bubba Markovic, real quick. I know we got to get out of here. This is running long. I watched the Adriatic League to scout Markovic lately. It's literally rugby basketball. Those dudes are like punching each other, flying elbows, pushing each other in the back, cross body blocks. The Adriatic League is wild.
Hey, man. It's where Nikola Jovic came from.
Dude, it's wild.
Kind of basketball I like.
The Wizards, even for a guy like me that loves 90s and 80s ball, it's kind of crazy. Janai Broom goes to the Wizards. Zarski to the Warriors is a great pick, actually. Rocco can play. The Kings take Tanjay. I don't know if he's a draftable player. Tyrese Proctor goes to Utah. That's really late for Proctor. Eric Dixon never met a shot he didn't like. Sion James to the Bulls is actually a great pick for him. Cam Jones goes 46 to Orlando. If you've seen my big board, you kind of know how I feel about Cam Jones. Kobe Barea goes 47. Javon Small, Golden, Lachlan Olbrich to the Knicks. Good spot for him to end up. I've never heard of Victor Lakin in my life. Kobe Sanders.
Look who's at 52. Is that someone? Hold on. Can you
what school did he go to, Matt?
Yeah.
Matt, what school was that?
Nevada. I can't tell, Adel. I cannot tell what school that guy comes from.
Let me help you.
Can you tell me what school that guy comes from?
Yeah, let me help you out.
Look at Kobe Sanders getting some love.
The Nevada Wolf Pack?
I'll be honest. I still have an undrafted grade on Kobe Sanders, but if he gets drafted, I'm not going to complain. What do you?
No, you're going to celebrate. You're going to celebrate.
Come on, dude.
The Utah Jazz, Dink Pate. I'm not enamored with Dink Pate at all. At all. Pacers get Micah Peavy. Lakers, Hunter Silas. I think he's undrafted. Amari Williams, the center. Elijah Martin is a sneaky player that could be in the league for a long time. Ryan Nembhard, if he gets drafted, I like what he can bring to the table. And RJ Lewis. All right, man. So that is it, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Digital Adel. You can find me on Twitter. Matt, where can they find you, follow you, and get more of your work?
At NPH_824_ on Twitter. You can find me at venditasportsmedia.com, mountainwestconnection.com, and hot.hoops.com, as well as playback.tv/5RSN and playback.tv/hoops profile, which we're at right now.
Right now. And we'll see you at the playback.tv/5RSN for the draft on the 25th and the 26th. So join us. We'll watch the draft. I'll try to be able to get the footage and cut up some of the moments to put on YouTube. We'll see though.
When I steam off and rage, no.
We'll definitely go live to do a recap probably the next day or something like that, or the weekend or the following week. But yeah, thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.